It's very sad that we are where we are in this country, in that, like, politics has this really, really established a firm grip on our education system. And not only that, but the curriculum as well. Um, it's sad. And I don't know. I'm curious to know what things were like, if it's always been this way. I'm curious to know that. I wonder when, um, during the late 60s and the early 70s, when Vietnam was going on, I wonder if there was a lot of division within schools uh, about Vietnam. I wonder if you had teachers go out of their way to inject their personal opinions in the as it related to the politics of the day. I wonder if that happened, but it's just crazy for me. I'll never forget when the Dixie Chicks, when they went on stage and disrespected the president. I mean, which they are allowed to do, but that's just something I'd never experienced. I didn't know people would talk like that about the president, like so openly, um, and not just talk about him, but be disrespectful, like really nasty. Um, and so now you just fast forward to 2025, and it's crazy, man. It's like people. It's just such a the current president is such a polarizing figure. I mean, people get so angry and just filled with passion either way. But and so now look where we are. Like this, as a social studies teacher, like this is I'm not happy about this. Does anyone else's district prohibit teaching history after 9/11? Like that's crazy. It's crazy. I just found this out, that the history curriculum in my district stops at 9/11. Does anyone else have this issue? Also, isn't that insane? Yes, it's insane. I'm debating addressing the school board. All right. Edit. Apparently, a teacher presented the school board with a more modern curriculum and textbook, and it was denied, saying it's too political. I'm hearing this from one teacher. When school starts back up, I'll ask around. So the school board said it's too political. Like, I think just the very to discuss politics to discuss politics is too political. I think to even discuss Donald Trump, I think it's now it's just it's too political, too political. We don't want to talk about that. We can't talk about that. Or, uh, oh man, I think what is really concerning to me is that we need to be able to have these discussions, and we need to be able to teach students how to have these discussions, how to debate. He's used the word debate. We need to be able to do that. Like, if our if we can't teach kids how to debate their position and defend their position, then, like, what are we doing? Like, here's a school that's basically they're staying away from this topic, because no, it's not that it's too political. It's divisive. And 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 as a result, people have their opinions, they have their feelings, and they get filled with passion. And the school is saying, we don't want that. We don't want that here. Don't say the president's name, don't do it. I think that I don't know. I think it would be better if students were challenged to defend their opinion, and you know, not only defend their opinion but listen to another opinion and be open to not completely change their position, but be open to, well, you know what, that is a good point, and I still feel the way that I feel, but man, I can't deny that you just made a good point. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that we need to be doing that. We need to be doing that in schools. Like we But now it's just really tough. It's really tough to have these discussions. And not only that, we do have teachers who go into business for themselves, and they give they they give their opinion. They give their strong opinion. And this is like when I was in the classroom, I told students, I said, because they would ask me, who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? It's like, nope, I'm not telling you that. I'm here to give you the information, and I want you to think about that. I'm encouraging you to think about that. And oftentimes they would come in and say, "Well, I don't like this candidate. I don't like that president. They're ruining the country." Well, and I would say to them, "Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? What has that president done that's ruining the country?" And oftentimes it would be that they're repeating something that they heard, and so that's not the kind of citizen that I want to that I want to be a part of educating and helping to graduate. We need more citizens that are open to listening to both sides, taking in the information, processing, assessing that information, and then forming their own opinion. That's what we need more of. And so that's why it's such a shame that, and maybe this teacher doesn't have all the facts, but I can imagine that there are schools around the country that they would just rather stay away from anything after 9/11. And it's just really, really interesting because I think that the presidency of, and I remember, yeah, the end of Clinton's second term, there was you know what went on there. Yeah, that was scandalous. But I just remember when Obama came into office, there was just a lot of the opposition seemed to be like on a different level. It's just this anger and venom on both sides. And then it's been that way ever since. Like, obviously, when Trump came into office, yes, like people were losing their minds. And then, yeah, a lot of the same with Biden. It just got worse and worse. More politics, school board meetings. And this is the norm now. This is the norm now. And so hopefully things will turn back the other way. Hopefully, we never know what the future holds, but I don't I think staying away from having some of these discussions, I don't think that's good for our students. I think that we are, in some ways, we're neglecting our responsibility to help these young citizens learn about this country, and how it is to operate, and what part they can play in it, and how they are to play their part. We don't want citizens just parroting something else that they heard from someone else. No, we want them to think and make up their own mind. That's ultimately what we want them to do. So hopefully this teacher doesn't have all the facts here, and hopefully the board is open to history after 9/11, because that would be a shame, because the world did not stop. Thankfully, the world did not stop after 9/11.